Hi everyone, this is Mike. Welcome to my channel, RFX Tech. I have the absolute pleasure to share with you a device that I think is a dream for nerds and geeks around the world. This is the first 7 nanometer PC handheld gaming machine. It is something that I am just so excited to share with you, to the point where I actually wanted to introduce my channel using this device. This is a 7-inch handheld PC, gaming PC, and I will go ahead and turn it on so you have an idea of what to expect with this machine. The purpose of this channel will be to introduce to you some gadgets that I feel very excited about and passionate about. I am a fan of handhelds. I've had my first handheld was a Game Gear. That was my first handheld, and to see how far we've come in terms of PCs and the capabilities, it's pretty incredible. And you can see just the thinness of this system here, the thought that was put into this system, the arrangements of buttons, it just makes sense. And the folks that are responsible for this is the Aya team out in China, and it's a small team, and the founder of the Aya team is Uncle A. He had thought about making a handheld during this pandemic, and what you see in front of you is really the making of someone who is extremely passionate about making something as small as this and as powerful as well. So I'm super thrilled to share with you this system on hand. One of the things that I want to note that this is called the Aya Neo Founders Edition. It is I would say, the pre-production version of the official models that are coming out. Recently there was an Indiegogo campaign for the first production systems that are going to be color black, which is Dark Star, I believe, and then the white version, which Aya calls, I think they call it Light Moon. And so it is. So just keep in mind that that campaign has passed. They're currently in production mode and trying to fulfill the 2,500 plus systems that they were trying to reach in terms of goals. But in the meantime, I want to share this with you because this was a system that was provided in China for the natives and folks there, and also the media. So this is actual product. It's a real product. I was able to obtain this through a forwarder agent, and through a used marketplace, and I was able to get this at a good price. And when I say that, I mean it's in the $800 to $900 range, which for this quality of a system is pretty fantastic, if you ask me. Now, I will be introducing products like this in my channel, and I'm into things like getting my hands on things like VR systems and opening them up and finding ways to make them lighter, modifying them, and I'm planning to do the same with the Aya Neo that we have here. So I will make some follow-up videos to kind of find ways to enhance the cooling, enhance the make some enhancements just in general, and also put thermal paste and replace the existing. I'm existing thermal paste. I'm kind of that person who will look at things like that and find ways to enhance the product. This system is already well tuned as it is, and so it's fantastic kind of to not have to do too many mods, but I still love doing mods, and I like finding ways to modify a system and enhance it. But I will do my darnest to do the same for this. There are two things on the system with pre-production that we have to be aware of. One of them is that the rumble pack here at the bottom, at the bottom here, here, these two rumbles that you have here on the bottom are a little too strong, so I'm going to find ways to dampen that. And also the speakers at the bottom, they're not the highest quality speakers on the planet. They're not super loud, so I have to find either high quality speakers, but I also have to, I know that it's not just speakers, it's also what's amplifying the sound for these systems. So one of the other things that I do want to kind of bring up is I have, ever since I've had this system on hand, which is about a week or so ago, I have been in awe of the attention to detail that the Aya team has provided, and showing off the level, I guess the way I would say is the level of art when it comes to designing systems like the internals. And I'm going to zoom in so you kind of get an idea of what I'm getting to. Really, I really appreciate the work and just really the care that the Aya team took to design something like this. Now I'm zooming in so I can also explain to you what these buttons do. This left trigger is your mouse button here, so that's what that is. And it's actually pretty easy to navigate the mouse, and I'll show you the right and left click button. You also have your D-pad here. So this is your D-pad, and I'll click on it so you know what it sounds like. It's very light. It doesn't, it's not as clicky as I'm about to show you with these other buttons. So here I'm going to enable the LED button. So this is actually something that will unfortunately be available for the white and black version of the Aya Neo. This is just a special feature for the Founders Edition. And as you can see, as I'm clicking away, I'm changing different colors, so you can change the lighting, the internal lighting of this machine, so you can, you know, customize it for to whichever color meets and suits you. I will go ahead and keep it in this solid purple. I like this purple color. I think that's pretty cool. Actually, I think it's breathing. But this H button, I believe this is the Xbox button. We also have the escape button here, and this escape button is the button that you use to you want to get into the menu options in game, and then you also have your restore button there. So I'm going to go ahead and move it here, and I'm just going to kind of show, I'm also just going to give you a really close up of what it looks like in terms of the screen quality. It is absolutely impressive to see this. The quality is, it's bright, it's clear, and as you can tell, the screen is touchscreen. So just very cool how that little feature is just another plus for the system. And I'll get into that in a little bit. I got lucky that this screen had a screen protector when I first got it, because as I was setting up my YouTube rig here, overhead rig, the phone that I was using to set up the camera shots landed on the bottom edge there, and it made a crack. So I really thank the person who sold this to me for placing a screen protector. So thank you. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this side here, but just ending on the note of the screen. It is an IPS screen, and it's just a 60 hertz screen. It does. It also it is 7 inches. That's the diagonally. So it's fantastic in terms of just the quality aspects, and really they did a fantastic job. With this system, I am experiencing a little backlighting, but it's not. You cannot see it. It has to be completely dark scene to see the light bleeding. But that, again, that's expected for systems that, for the first time. But it's not going to be an issue with the production, and I'm okay with that, just because I can tell when it's severe backlighting issues, but that's not the case here. So going back, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm going to go ahead and move the mouse here to the far right, And you can see that I'm moving the mouse here. So here it is. And then your A button is your left click. And then your X button is your right click. Okay, so I can go ahead and click and then right click and then kind of copy the URL for this if I want. Now, getting used to the mouse functions, it is very, very straightforward. The one thing is that what I'm trying to get used to is the movement, and there is ways. Of course, there's an application that comes with the system that allows you to change the speed and also the latency and all that fun stuff. So just FYI, the acceleration, I'm sorry. And so you have those options when you get the system. So this is a ABXY configuration, and you can hear if I press it, it sounds clicky, which is great. It does sound a little clicky, and that's great for this this button configuration. Then you have your joystick. This does the scrolling up and down, and I'm gonna actually let me touch this here, and I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit so you have an idea. And yes, those ratings. What is this? What game is this for? This is for Battlefield 5, I think, or I don't even. Okay. But just to show you, that is what the right joystick does. It actually scrolls. So this is very neat when it comes to browsing the internet. And then you also have your the TM here stands for Task Manager, so it has that option here. Zoom out a little here, and then also it also has your escape. And also has a win button, which is the button that you will use to bring up your Windows search feature and things like that. And then you also have so this button is the KB button, and that's keyboard. And when I press it, it will come. The modern keyboard will show up. But by default, it does come up with the pop-up accessibility keyboard. I applied a code thanks to a team member. I'm sorry, another fan. I think his name is Luke, and I apologize if I butchered his name, but he is in the Discord, and he has provided a piece of software via GitHub to modify this button so that it does play nicely and bring up the modern keyboard instead of the pop-up accessibility keyboard. So really cool. It's very useful for whenever you want to enter information here. Yes, I'm giving up my Steam username, and I'm sorry if I beat you in on Rocket League. My apologies. But if you want to play, certainly you now know my Steam user tag name, so you can go ahead and search me, and we'll certainly play. You can see the array of games that I have here. There are many, and this is really to kind of capture what this game system, the Ioneo, is capable of. And we'll get into that in just a bit, but my focus right now is just really go over the system overall, and then I will open the cover in the back so you get an idea of what that looks like. But let's go ahead and flip this in the back so I can show you really the intricate work that the team has done at Aya to really produce something as beautiful as this. To me, this is something that I absolutely admire. When you see this high quality of system here, when you have these little components, well spaced out, wonderfully soldered, to me, this is I can watch this for hours. I can watch this for hours and hours to see such beautiful work for a system this tiny, for a system that was developed during the pandemic. It is just pretty impressive. So really kudos to the Aya team for manufacturing something as beautiful as this. So really great job. You can see, yes, the system does have a design from Wizman Design is what I have listed here, and I love it. I like it. It's a little quirky, and I like it, and it has its own unique tone to it, and I appreciate stuff like that. Now, the production units will not have this design. This is a special edition design, so just keep that in mind. So, as I noted earlier, it does have an AMD Ryzen 5 and 4500U CPU. The heatsink, what drives all of this is and makes this cool, is that it does have a copper heatsink here, and it's cooling these 6 cores that are in the processor. You could also see here that it has a 47 watt hour battery. In terms of how long it I get asked this question about battery life. When we're talking about 15 TDP, we're talking about solid 2 hours, maybe more. Again, it depends on what games you're playing. But if you're playing like emulations from older, I think I would say maybe Nintendo Wii U and below, you're getting about 3 to 4 hours, even 5 hours, and tops or more. Actually, my apologies, more. And I've seen this because when this first came out, there was a Billy, I think is the YouTube equivalent to what we have here in the United States for streaming video in China. And so there was someone there who tested, playback of gameplay, and he tested multiple TDPs. And I noticed that when he was using 10 TDP, it was going up north of 5 hours, which is fantastic, and even more. He could have kept on going if he had changed his LCD display. But for 15 TDP, generally you're looking at 30 frames plus in games, and even more. But you're looking at a 2 hour range. Now, again, just zooming in, I'm going to zoom in even further so that way, again, we can really take a look at the innards here. And you can see there's 2 USB Type-C connections. You have your headset connection there. And I do have here, I have an inland drive here. I love Inland because it is an in-brand of Micro Center, and I absolutely love Micro Center. It is like a second home to me. It should be my first, but I can retire at Micro Center because I love Micro Center so much. It's just, I love that place. So any chance I get to buy their brand, here we have a 2 terabyte NVMe TLC drive, and anytime I have a chance to buy stuff like this and upgrade parts, I go to Micro Center. I love Micro Center, and also Amazon too. But originally this system came with a 512 gigabyte drive, and so that's what I actually got originally with this system. Again, as I noted that if I haven't, I did note that this system is a used system that I obtained through a used market. Earlier in the video I did mention that, and so it came with this drive here, which is a 512, and you can see it's wrapped in copper. Let me go ahead and get a nice shot of that. And so this is really the drive that came with the system, and I will have a video to kind of share with you how to upgrade your SSD or NVMe, sorry. And so I'll share that video with you on my next videos. And this is going to be the left side panel behind, and you can see the ribbon here that connects to the trigger buttons that are here. And here you have the trigger buttons, and I will actually see if I can could get that shot there. And you can see I'm pressing it, and it has this very satisfying click, which is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and switch it this way here, because I'm going to go over the buttons here. So as I noted earlier, this is the trigger button, and you can see the quality of this. This is not like a 3D printed low quality plastic. Really great quality. This machine, the molding, I believe, was made with CNC with the CNC process, so very high quality. You can even see like the gold plates that connect the screws to the system to keep it all intact. Even that looks high quality. So great job again to the Aya team for building such a high quality machine. You can also see with the system here the curvature of the system, and I'm gonna, sorry if I move that camera around. This is the curvature, and it's really ergonomically just stunning to see how far they've come in terms of like producing a first time product and producing a high quality product, and having curves like that is pretty impressive to me. I don't know, that's just really cool that there's no jagged edges or anything like that. It's very soft and curvy. So really great job. I mean, look at the quality of the joy stick here. And I'm sorry, I only move this here. I mean, that's great quality. It does, I will say, if you compare this to the Nintendo Switch, this has a little more movement, I will say. So it's very, it has a lot more movement, I will say. And it also, I did add a little rubber protector cap on that button. So going over here, the first thing that I'm gonna note is that there's the power button. You do have to hold it like for a second or two, and then it'll start activating and turning off. You have your plus button, volume up and volume down, and my favorite connection is the 3.5 millimeter. I like Bluetooth, but I'm not the most super fan of Bluetooth because of disconnections sometimes. And then you also have two USB Type-C connections. With the production systems, what the Aya team will do is identify what the purpose of each connection is preferred to be used for. For instance, I believe this connection right here to the right will be power, and this one will be for data. Both will function as full-on USB Type-C, but they're providing these little little notices just to kind of, you know, identify power. So you want power to go through this one. Again, you can do it on this one as well. They're just providing that kind of guidance. I think they did a fantastic job with the vents, and I think I've seen this design before. I don't recall where I've seen it, but I know I've seen it, and this vent design is fantastic. I really like it. And you can actually see, I don't know if you can see, but there's some copper in this side here that you can kind of peek into. Why, to me, the copper is important is because it gives me the ability to one day, and ultimately, once I've had the system for some time, to apply liquid metal. I am a fan of putting liquid metal on things that I can do so, like copper. And as long as there's copper contact, I can go ahead and do the liquid metal, but it is very, very dangerous. I want to be very careful with that. But I will ultimately have liquid metal applied to the CPU, but not after some time that I've owned this system. And then you have your right, and then your right button and right trigger button here, and you can hear that's very satisfying. And and then moving on, the one thing that I will work on in terms of modifying, making modifications, is the rumble. So this little component here, when it comes to rumble, it's very, very loud. Very strong, very strong, and I have to find a way to dampen that. So the vibrations are strong on this system, so I have to find a way to dampen. I think they tried here to add little rubber insert here, or I think it may be like some foam. I'm not sure yet, but I plan to improve that. And then I'm going to switch it here to the bottom, and This also has a USB Type-C connection that you see here. You could also see the speakers are not the highest quality speakers. They do sound a little tinny. I mean, they work, they do the job, but it's kind of one of those things where I am absolutely going to look in. I've actually have ordered speakers from AliExpress, and so I've ordered several. So I do plan to have that. Now with AliExpress, I mean, things can, they take forever, but that's the reality, and they're inexpensive. But I did choose express shipping so I can get to several of these. I guess the way they're listed as tablet speakers, when you're looking it up on Ali, they're called flat tablet speakers. And when you're looking at it in AliExpress, that's what they're listed. So all these little cables, you can see they did a great job of tucking it all in, but I do plan on cutting those up and replacing them with the speakers that are on their way, and trying them out and see what comes about with that. And then Type-C, again, all these connections, the Type-C connections here are full-on Type-C. What they are not is Thunderbolt. Now, we have to consider that this is a handheld system, right? And it's a handheld first. And I think their focus here was, one, making sure that that is the focus. Another thing, too, is that AMD chipsets don't generally support Thunderbolt. So that's another thing that... some people may look at it as a downside. I'm okay with this because really, ultimately, if I'm going to connect this to my system here, I have an OLED 48-inch LG display that I use for work and for play. And so I'm going to, focus on using my, I'm sorry to brag here, but my 3090 Founders Edition card and play on my high-end gaming system for that type of gaming. But there is going to be a dock that will be included with the production model, and I think that's going to be fantastic for just gentle browsing and really light work, although this system is very capable of playing 4K videos. So just FYI, just one of those things that you want to consider as well when you're looking at this. So that was just an overview of the hardware aspects. I just wanted to go over it because, again, it is great to celebrate technology at this level of detail. And to me, this is just, I am so happy that this exists and I'm able to have this on my hands and really admire the work from a handheld standpoint. One of the things that I'll do at this point is I'm going to show off gameplay, so we have an idea of what that looks like. And let me, there's a range of games here. As you can see, I've downloaded a bunch, and I've also played a few so I can test them out before I made this video. But one of the things I'm going to just note that I will, in this channel, my goal is to share devices like this, do a little bit of gameplay, also do some benchmarks, and try out new games or games that will be compatible with this, which most likely, if it's a PC game, it's going to be compatible, but there's also emulation, such as Switch emulation, Nintendo Wii U, and also my favorite system I like emulating is PSP games. I love the PSP system, so that was another handheld that I had on hand. So, but just to kind of, I just wanted to give you a tour of the hardware, and then what we'll do now is do some little gameplay, and then I will have more videos as we get closer, as I have time to make the videos and next video. But I'm going to go ahead and start this up. Yes, I will show my gamer tag, which is fine, and I'm calling it gamer tag because in the Xbox world, that's how that's the sign-in name. So one of the things that you'll notice, now let me go ahead, it'll full screen and all that fun stuff. I'm gonna try to see if I can, and yes, you can see I did create some fingerprints. And I will adjust that just to make sure that's good to go and looks nice and clean. Because on this game, you don't have to touch the screen here. Okay. All right. So it's connecting online. Okay. So the reason I'm showing off Anthem is because no, it wasn't the greatest game of all time. I do recognize that. It is more of, I think it's cool to kind of show off the visual aspects of this system. And so it's pretty cool to see this. And I'm going to actually turn down the volume. So, okay. So from a visual standpoint, I think it's great to actually share this with you. And I know I have my camera. There you go. Sorry about that, folks. So from that standpoint, I want to share this with you. And actually, you're seeing this in real time. This whole video is past its 30 minutes, but the goal here is to really capture what the system's about, and really get a really good idea of what this system is capable of. So it is why I pick Anthem. Now I'm going to skip this. So spoiler alert, if you haven't played this game, it's not the end of the world. It does get repetitive, unfortunately, but just stunning, the graphics already. Actually, I think this is the actual gameplay, which is fantastic. So, okay, so let's go ahead and jump. I mean, and you can you can see the fidelity that this gets into. You can hear those motors. It's pretty loud. And I'll try to glide, but in this game, so you can hear so that's where I think you can hear the, and I'm sorry for the lighting here, so let me go ahead. But you can see how you can hear the motors kicking in. So and I'm going to try to get to that waterfall, because that's how this suit gets cooled off. So as I noted, so one of the things about this game is that I'm going to just kind of show off. I mean, look how cool this is. I mean, this is a game that I played on my, I think it was the 1080 or 2080 card, and here I have it playing on my handheld, which is incredible. So if you think about that, how incredible that is, that this is on a handheld. So it's just impressive. And the graphics, I'll share with you what the graphics look like in terms of, what the settings are. But I think my approach will be, why don't I show you what the graphics look like? I don't have any frames per second counter just yet. This is more, again, just to kind of give a little overview of what to expect. But even then, I can tell that this is in the 30, 35, even 40 range frames per second. So we'll get into the more performance level. We're going to get into the performance videos in my future videos here, and I'll share all these games. But just look at how cool that is, that you can see like the quality. Yes, it has a little motion. It has motion blur on, and I'm also able to turn off the intensity of those vibrations. So rumble here, I guess. So you can hear it could go even further, but I'm going to reduce it down to off. Okay, and I think I did turn them off. Yep. And then I'm going to go back. So I'm going to just fly around for a few more moments. And again, this is real. This is not some not a this is not emulation. This is a purely PC game, which is incredible. Just flying around. Yes, I gotta. Anthem doesn't let me. My suit doesn't let me. Okay. How cool is that? So, this is just giving you a little overview of what to expect. Again, Anthem is, I know it is, I had wished it was more than just a repetitive game, but you have to admire the graphics. I mean, really, the graphics look amazing. And you can get this game for like $8. But I think it's just awesome to kind of play this. And I'm playing this comfortably with my hands, you know. And so it's pretty cool how I can, you know, I can play with it. Sorry, let me clean my hair here. And so it's pretty cool that I can, with my hands, comfortably play this and not feel cramped or anything like that. Whereas the Switch, you do feel that. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, just admire the visuals. And yes, I can turn off motion blur, but for this instance, it's beneficial. But I will show another video where I do go into depth with multiple games. So again, I'm going to hit my shortcut here to exit the game and exit Anthem. Okay. So it's going back to the system here, to the operating system. So you can hear the fans here. They're not super loud. It's not over the top. And they do cool down and ramp up, of course, but then when it cools down, it does a good job of cooling down the CPU, and I can feel it's not too hot. So again, I really thank you for taking the time to check out my first video on my channel that will be called RFX Tech. And this is really just a kickoff to my channel, and I hope you've enjoyed it. One of the things that I, of course, if you like this video, if you like this demonstration, please let me know in the comments. Let me know things I should change, things, you know, please criticize me. I don't really care, because at the in terms of negative comments or anything like that, because at the end of the day, you know, I could always change things that is to our folks, the viewers' liking. So, but yeah, if there is anything that you want me to share, please let me know. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, or you can subscribe. And this, again, another thing to note, that this was this Aya Founders Edition was not provided to Aya to me. It was purchased with my own money, and so there is no bias other than I absolutely love handheld PC machines, and like I've noted before, I've owned, if I haven't already, I've owned the GPD Win, and then GPD Win 2, and also the GPD Win Max, and I've owned, and now I own the Aya Neo, and I've been absolutely impressed with this machine. I'm just enthralled and so happy, because we get to, again, celebrate technology in this fashion, and really just admire how far we've come from the Game Gear or the Game Boys, and to you know, I remember having the handheld LCD Street Fighter games. So this is just what a way we've come. And as you can tell, I do have Street Fighter here, and we will oh, I have it somewhere here, but I will absolutely share that game. I thought I had Street Fighter 5. So but I'll share that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I hope you've found this video informative, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.